If you're looking for professional day trading education and high level trade analysis and dissection, you've come to the right place. My name is Pat Mitchell. I have been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to bring you exactly that professional day trading education, all here for free on YouTube and on X. And tonight we are going to be going over a couple of trades that I took. We're going to be taking a deep dive analysis on those trades. I'm going to tell you the hows, the whys, the trade plan, the entries, the executions, the P&L, all of that fun stuff. And then as a broader lesson for today, I am going to discuss something that most people may not expect. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen over the next probably 2 to 4 months, somewhere around there. Could be a little bit longer, could be a little bit less. It's going to be somewhere in that range. And with that said, folks, let's rock and roll. I hope you all had a wonderful day. Give me 1 sec as I fire up these charts. There we go. 1 quick sec. Okay, let's do this. Okay, guys, so let's go over the day. So if you turn your attention to these left-hand blue charts, what these charts are the daily charts. Now, this is exactly how I trade every day. For those of you that are new and struggling traders, you absolutely, okay, this isn't just opinion. This is how you need to have your chart set up. And there's a reason for that. Your daily chart is going to give you a lot of information that even if you set up levels and everything else, it's good reference to have that. Now, with that said, for those of you that just might be joining us, these levels that you see marked, this high and then this low, I'm not marking a high or a low. These are our levels of execution. So these levels are struck and placed 30 minutes at a minimum prior to the market open. And then I develop trade plans. Now, I don't trade on the fly. I always have plans going into the market. And that's why you see the consistency that you do on this channel. I do not deviate from my trade plans. It's preparation. Preparation is extremely important as a day trader. If you don't do that, you're going to make mistakes. And this is a game where you have to be on the ball. So that's what these levels are. This level up here was to go short. This level down here was to go long. It's pretty simple. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here on SPY because that's where my trades took place. So I'm just going to move this over, even though it went up quite a bit higher. And we are going to go over these trades here, guys. Okay, so first off the bat, what we have is a resistance level. This resistance level is just pre-market highs. There's not a lot of resistance there. A pre-market level, if you take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches in that area with pre-market volume, there's not a lot of volume there. Therefore, there is not a lot of resistance, but it is our only resistance. Okay. Now, there is a trend level that's way up there, but it's not going to come into play for today. So that level is a pre-market level. We will take that short if that triggers. And that's what it did. So at the market open, right. Let me turn the magnet off. Sorry, guys. So magnet is off. The market opens here and pops up. As it pops up into that level, it's very minimal risk. We were going to risk standard risk. It is one of my many risk strategies on this. And that's what I call it. I call it standard risk on this. Like I said, it is a full-blown risk strategy. It's actually designed to keep you in the trade just long enough. Like, and I'll ask a question for those of you that aren't members. Like, have you ever been in a trade and you stop out just as it is about to come back down or go back up? Like, you stop out literally at dead nuts lows or dead nuts highs. That's what standard risk solves. It solves that problem for you while having a risk strategy in place. So that's one of those things. So we were going to apply standard risk in this case. We didn't need it. It basically touched that level and came all the way down. First entry, I enter, I pay myself. It gives me actually another area to enter into that level. It comes up twice. So I take that opportunity and I add and then get more follow through all the way down into the level to go long. So complete trade, beautiful trade. Had very few contracts left on this. I ended up stopping out on the rest, and that was that. So that short, I ended up locking in $3,458, all within, for the most part, the first 10 minutes of the market open. And then the market comes down, racing down with speed and distance into pre-market lows. Now, here's the special thing about pre-market lows. There, I had far more confidence in this trade. Now, I didn't apply too much size, and I'll tell you that here in a second why I didn't. But way more confidence in this because this isn't just pre-market lows. Okay. What this is actually a trend level. There's a trend level here that comes up right into that area, almost dead nuts right into that level. Now, I drew that by hand, so it's not quite perfect, but you guys get the point. If you want, you can absolutely draw your own trend level, and you will see that price point of roughly 682.15. Actually, it was slightly higher than that, but that's all right. So let me get those entries 1 sec. So as it comes down into that level, just like I said before, I do not deviate from my trade plans, and I am going to start in right there. That's where I started in. Then it comes into the level and I add. And there we go. Absolutely beautiful trade. This one ended up being almost a 100% trade. It would have been about 75, 80% from best entry to best sell. So overall, really, really solid morning on that. And I locked in $1,194 on that. So these are very straightforward, traditional trades. Now, I did say, why didn't I take too much size on this? Well, I had already locked in thousands of dollars. So I'm not going to risk those thousands of dollars, right? I don't trade with small size. So if I'm going to go in with a full size or a plus size position, if I add pressure, which this would normally be a pressure trade, and there's a lot more reason than just it being trend and pre-market lows. I did a full-blown, probably about a 40-minute analysis on pre-market lows lately. It's something that is working extremely well. And we back tested it live through going through the chart in this specific market. And it's working. This is now 8 for 8 of the last times it tested pre-market lows. It is held. Now, that's not going to work forever, but you do, once you see that pattern, you do need to work it, and you work it without hesitation. So that's part of it as well. So I didn't hammer it with size because I had already locked in thousands of dollars, and I would never risk going red on any singular trade. One of the biggest shames and cardinal sins that you can do as a trader is turn a beautiful green trade or green day red. Don't do that. Okay. And a lot of traders have a hard time with that because they're not thinking about being a full-time trader. They're not in that mind frame yet and that mindset. And it's a mistake. They're constantly trying to just make money. But when you do become a full-time and professional trader, it is about paying the bills. Your family relies on you. You need to keep the lights on, the roof over your head, and the whole nine. So you do need to lock in. And it is something that you do need to evaluate before you get into trades with your sizing. Because if you don't do that and you're constantly oversizing in every single position and you're treating every trade the same and you're not taking risk into account, you will fucking fail. Mark my words. So that is something to keep in mind. So now I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story as to, a lot of people were caught off guard by this gap up. You could see that a lot all over social media with a lot of these, in quotes, professionals talking about how crazy this market is and everything else. Now, I'm going to take you back about 3-4 months ago, maybe even longer by now. It could even be about 5 months, to be honest. It was quite a while ago. I did a mentoring live class. So every Sunday, I do a 1-hour class on specific topics about current market conditions or technicals or mentality and emotional training. So it can be various different things. Well, 3-4 months ago, whenever this class was, I talked about exactly what is going on in this market. And I even put out a few, by this point, I've mentioned a few times in my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel in various videos about this here. So I said that this is trading remarkably similar to pre-COVID. And if you take a look, it's almost tick for tick. And you're going to see these highs, right? And I'm not going to pull back too far, but these highs have broke and it's got pretty irrational. And then I even said, pretty much word for word, verbatim, that we're going to have a big crack, and a lot of people are going to think that that's the top and it's going to start selling off and everything else. That's not the case. It's not what's going to happen. It's immediately going to come up and re-break all-time highs, and then that's when it's going to get irrational. And I even describe the body and the look of the candles that will come next. And the last 2 days, these are the look of the candles. You're going to have very little wick and very tight uniform bodies of these candles, and it's going to basically go straight up. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be green days every single day and it's going to be perfect every single day. It's definitely not what I'm saying, but you'll notice over the next 2 to 4 months, somewhere around there, this market's going to become extremely irrational, and most people are going to get caught off guard by it. I'm expecting this. I know that this is going to happen. And I'm going to tell you what is going to happen at the end of it. So what we're going to see for this time is these candles on the daily chart. They're going to look exactly like this. Okay. You're going to see a fairly small bodied candle. Okay. And you're going to have very little wick, top wick, and very little bottom wick. And that's going to continue up. Now, again, don't get my fucking words twisted, because a lot of people are mouth breathers out there and they seem to do that. I'm not saying every single day will look like that, but overall, on average, that's what these candles are going to look like. And then how do we know when the top is in, when the actual top is in? Well, I'm going to tell you when the top is in. I will announce it. I will put it on my social media. I will probably make a video of it, as I always do, where I've called every single top since I've started trading. And it's not random. It's something that I can do, because it's not just about extension. A lot of people will just call a top based on extension or it being irrational or whatever. That's not what it is. What it is you can actually see it on the intraday chart. Now, you need to know what you're looking for, but I'll give you just basically the bird's eye view on it, the 1,000-foot view. You're going to see institutional selling disguised into retail buying. Okay. So what can happen is on short cover, okay, because that is retail buying. It is still a cover, so you have to buy to cover, as well as on longs. It's going to move very differently, okay, and it's going to be heavy volume, and it's going to be disguised. And what they're doing is they're getting out of their fucking positions, okay? It's also going to become very heavily manipulated over the course of the next 2 to 4 months, could even be a little bit longer. The timeline is not easy to pinpoint. Okay. But once I start seeing that institutional selling into retail buying, game on. We're getting close to the top. Okay. Now, I also want to give you guys, now that enough time has went by on this video, that there shouldn't be any issues here, I'm going to give you a little heads up. Now, this isn't fear mongering. This isn't any of that. And again, I called exactly when COVID hit. Exactly. And I said there was something coming because of the institutional selling into retail buying. There was something very strange going on these charts. Just like I knew we're going to have a big crack on this chart. It's going to look like the end, and then it's going to come right back up. All of this is by design, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't give a fuck if some people out there want to tell me to put away my tinfoil hat. I've done this time and time again. Here's the difference with this one. This isn't going to be some 20 or 30% crash or bear market. It is going to go far greater than that. And if I told you how far this is probably going to sell off, you'll definitely think I'm crazy. So I'm going to keep that to myself and for my members. I've already drawn out price points. I know exactly where this thing's going to go. Now, some of you might be saying like, oh, so you're looking to short the market. I'm not. It's not what I'm looking for. I will day trade the market until we hit key specific price points to buy. Now, you might be saying, well, why wouldn't you just short the market if you know where the top is? Because even in bear markets, okay, it's 54, 56% of those days are green days. Okay. So you're going to fight that. Now, I would trade options and I would buy puts. And what happens in those types of situations, yes, you can make a lot of fucking money. Don't get me wrong. I've done it before. Okay. But because of the play of those charts where over half the days are still green, it melts out those options. Okay. So it can be difficult with your expiry and all of that. Long story short, and I will just day trade the market because that's what I'm good at. Right. I can do that because it doesn't matter what the market's doing. The market can be selling off, it can be squeezing, it can be ripping up, it can be consolidating. It doesn't matter. From a day trading perspective, it doesn't matter. I'll go long or short on those days. It doesn't matter. Right. So what I'm looking for is to go long once the dust settles. Now, I made a video a while ago talking about, a 30, 50% pullback and 50% at max. It's going to be far greater than that. And yes, you'll see. So that's exactly what's going to happen. This is going to be a big, dirty pullback. And what they're going to do, mark my words on this, write this shit down. Okay. What's going to happen is once it hits that 30, 35% range, when normal markets will start to level out, it's going to level out. It is going to consolidate and even make it look like it's going to confirm. That's how they drop at the remaining percent. They're going to trap a bunch of longs into the market, a bunch of investors, a bunch of retail investors, and then they're going to fucking hammer it. And that's when they're really going to fuck people. So again, what's coming is a big fucking dry and hard right in the ass of retail investors and traders. People like you and I, because of their greed and their bullshit. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I'll know the day it's going to happen. I just need more time in order to call the day. And again, you can believe me or not. It's fine. It makes no difference to me because I'll be the one executing the trades. But what I'm telling you is normally most people, I would tell, if you have, if you're not at retirement, okay, so if you're not about to retire, you'll have more than enough time to recover in your investments. So don't sell them, right? But if you are about to retire, right, you should probably think about something. You should probably have a plan B here because they're about to wipe some fucking people out. They're about to wipe out everyone. There is going to be a changing of the way that we deal with money and the economy. That's coming. There's a lot of things coming. And I don't think that that's like some big revelation or a secret right now, because if you can't see that, you're fucking blind, man, right? The world is very different, and I know that this is getting a little bit long and everything, but fuck it, whatever. I got fuck all else to do. I think pre-COVID was a very different time. Just like there's different timelines, right? In through the years, right? Like there's the Roman Empire, and then that kind of ended, and then you have the Industrial Revolution that kind of changed things, and I think something really different has happened since COVID, and we're living in a very different world. A very different world, extremely different world. And this is just the beginning of it, right? And what comes next is a part of it. And you can be prepared or you can not be prepared and you're going to scramble. So, again, I'm not trying to be a fear monger or anything like that. I'm just simply telling you what's going to happen. This economy is absolutely going to get destroyed. Destroyed. Because again, how do I know exactly how this is setting up? How do I know exactly what these candles are going to look like? Like, this isn't coincidence. I've done this before. right? All of this shit is by design. So take my word for it or don't. Doesn't matter to me. I'm prepared and I'm good to go on it. So what rises from the ashes can be great, but I think that that is all going to depend on us because it's not going to depend on them. They want to level us. So take from that however you want to take that, take it. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity at the end of this. So if you can plan ahead, think ahead, protect yourself now and what's going to come over the coming months, and then it's going to be, like I said, they will drop it down to 35%. They'll make it look like the market's going to hold. Do not buy that fucking market. Whatever you do, don't buy it. They're going to make it look like it's just a standard bear market. Don't do it. Don't fall for that trap. You're going to get fucked on, because then that's when they're going to drop it. That's when they're really going to drop the hammer. What comes at the beginning is going to look like a normal crash, like a regular bear market. It's going to look very normal. It might be volatile, but it's going to look very normal. And then they're going to hit a price point, whatever that price point is, they're going to hold it. That's when retail is going to buy, because people are going to put back in their money into the market, and then that's when they're going to level it. And again, take notes. And if you think I'm full of shit now and you're going to type away in the comment section, go right ahead. But I expect a fucking apology when it's time for that apology. So on that note, folks, if you want to learn how to protect yourself, how to day trade properly so none of this fucking affects you, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me at all. Come to tricktrades.com. And if not, enjoy the free stuff. But it's going to fucking take you forever to put these pieces together on your own. It just will. Those are facts, guys. So that's up to you. Have a good one, guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Adios.